where are we at with the movie?
Actually, we're doing really well with the movie. It'd be quite kind of nice to find Harry, though. After the birth of my daughter, the day I found out Bloomsbury had taken my book for publication was the happiest moment of my life.
You apparently earned 25 million quid last year.
Don't believe everything you read in the press. I'm not going to lie, I mean, by anyone's standards, and certainly by mine, I'm now rich. The single biggest change, and only people who have been extremely broke, I think, will really understand this. The single biggest change it makes to my life, I don't worry about money every day.
Well, there was that lovely bit where she said, well, I thought it was funny.
I was
makes me
looking blank
chuckle every time when she says that.
Right.
Can you sign the book? Can you sign books? All right, okay.
Welcome aboard the Hogwarts Express.
Oh, there he is!
Do you want to come down this way and clean out the window?
Yeah.
Okay, follow me.
Oops, are you all right?
Alright, I've got it. Don't leave it, mate. Can you look this way a little bit? Can you look this way, wave up this way? Look this way.
The first time ever I cried while writing. I actually cried twice during writing of the It's a powerful ending, but as you will know,
That wasn't a Harry Potter day.
And the live interview.
I haven't seen it, obviously, but the live interview, they said to me, could you stand apart? I said, no. Could you stand apart? We just won't, you know, we'll move the camera. I said, no, and I'm trying to move back towards him and he's moving away from me. Aidan.
Have you read his, you haven't read his book, have you?
No, I haven't had time. But it's true what I said. Everyone I know who's read it says it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah, I'm ready when you are.
Slightly different interview, I suppose, but you know, obviously you've done me before, but let's start at the beginning. Significance of King's Cross.
Yes.
For you.
Yes. It's quite personal, as I think you know by asking me the question. My parents met on a train going from King's Cross to Scotland. Yeah. I think, I mean, I knew I wanted Harry to go by train, And so obviously, if I was going to choose a London station, it was going to be King's Cross.
Is it I mean, I had a disadvantage here because I didn't stay up all night and read it. But is it darker? It is darker, isn't it?
Yeah. I always knew it was going to get darker. When people have enthusiastically said to me, "My 4-year-old listens," I think, "Oh, too young." You know, there is a cut-off point. I always knew they would get darker, and now they have.
And a scary ending.
I think it's the scariest ending so far. Yeah, I think it is. But it's not gratuitous. I didn't do it for fun. There's a reason. And when people have read it, I can discuss that fully and freely. But at the moment, people haven't read it, so I don't really want to say too much about that.
I remember when the first book came out, I think in terms of when there was a search for a publisher by Christopher Little, it was judged to be too long, even the first book.
Yes. Oops. Yeah. Yes, the consistent criticism. I mean, there were others, but the one constant in the refusals from publishers before Bloomsbury was 40 years ago this would have been standard length for a children's novel, but it's no longer, and that was Philosopher's Stone, and I think Goblet of Fire is probably 3 times the length.
636 pages here.
I didn't expect it to be that long. I knew it was going to be longer than the third book. I just knew because of the plot. I knew I'd need more words, but I didn't expect it to be quite that long. That was a bit of a shock to me as well.
So were you, I mean, literally surprised when you saw the, you know,
when I had the final printout, I just visualised the look on my editor's face as I handed it to her, because she hadn't seen a word of it until that point, so I knew she was going to look fairly sick, and she did. Then she phoned me up and she said it was wonderful, so that was all right. But
was that a relief?
It's always a relief. Always a relief. I'm not, you know. Well, I was really happy with it. I'm confident to the extent that I know what I want to do, and I knew that I'd done it. I read book 4 through, and I was scared of reading it through. You know, it had been a very long book. I'd missed my deadline on it. I read it through, and I thought, if you hate it on this reading, what do we do? And I thought, well, I can't give it to them if I hate it, but I did like it. And so I was happy, but obviously your editor is a fairly important person in the process.
How do you rate, I mean, it's probably an impossible question, but because you're not far distant enough, but in terms of, you know, like I remember talking to David Cairns and he liked the third book best. Mm-hmm. Given you've just finished it, how do you rate it with its predecessors?
I think in some respects it is the best, honestly. And it was the hardest to write by far.
Are they getting harder to write?
No, the easiest to write was number 3. Number 1 was tough because of the circumstances in which I wrote it, but there were no expectations, so it was really all down to me. 2, I had a bit of a mental block with, because I panicked after the success of 1. 3 was really a dream to write. I really enjoyed writing As a Plan, and 4 has been nightmarish. I feel like some woman who's given birth to 3 children and thought, piece of cake, and then on the 4th one really gets clobbered in the labour, and it was the worst labour by far. Biggest baby though.
You delivered this in February.
Mm-hmm.
Have you left Harry Potter alone for a few months? Take a break?
No comment. I'm boiled either way. If I said yes I have, then I feel that people will say, oh, she's giving up. And I feel if I say I haven't, then I'm going to have people banging on my front door again.
I rang David Heyman up yesterday, who I spoke to when he initially got the rights. I mean, he sounded a stressed man, to be honest. Where are we at with the movie?
Actually, we're doing really well with the movie. It'd be quite kind of nice to find Harry, though. We all want a British Harry.
And are we in danger of not having a British Harry?
I don't know, honestly. I have no idea. I mean, I'm on the periphery of casting. I have no say whatsoever in casting, although I'm delighted to say that so far it looks like it's going to be an all-British cast.
They've seen, I think, thousands of boys, he said.
They've certainly had applications from thousands. I don't think they've seen thousands, but they've seen a lot.
And do you have any say in the matter?
No, not really. No. I don't really want to say, actually. I trust them. I trust them to find the right person, and I don't think there's a limit to how much input you want. You know, the film it's a different world. It's not my world. Film is not my world.
Hang on, I need to go through the tunnel first.
It's a different hotel every night. It's just mad. Constant flights all the time. You're constantly exhausted. At least this, you stay put. You know, it makes it easier. It really does.
You can repeat it, but how does this compare with the? I mean, I'm just actually curious. I'm not sure you like all this publicity thing, do you?
No, you're not. Do I like it? It depends. I'm always slightly amused to see the word reclusive attached to my name in the papers, and it deeply amuses friends of mine. I'm not reclusive. What people definitely forget is I actually still am a lone parent. That wasn't a publicity stunt, and I want to bring up my daughter myself. And that means you spend time with your daughter. You don't rush off for weeks on end promoting books and doing interviews. That is the reason why. This is okay. We're sitting on a train, it's fun. We just saw loads of children. Some of it's not fun. When people come and bang on your front door, it's not fun. No.
And do they?
Not loads. No, I mean, compared to, I don't know, true celebrities, no, I've had nothing, but I've had enough not to enjoy it.
The question about your impact on Bloomsbury. I mean, are you aware of the impact you've had on Bloomsbury and the value of the company?
I think I have, yeah. But I've got to say, people can be people will be cynical. The fact is that Bloomsbury took me when a good few very well established publishers said, no way, it's totally uncommercial. And they took a risk, because someone there thought, no, I like it. And that was as simple as that. We think it's a good book, we'll take it. And they should get credit for that. I can't be cynical about Bloomsbury, you know, because I would say, in fact, that after the birth of my daughter, the day I found out Bloomsbury had taken my book for publication was the happiest moment of my life. So I can be nothing but profoundly grateful to them. And they took a risk. It's very easy to look back now and think it was a dead cert. No one else thought it was a dead cert at all.
I know, but the whole thing's changed. But, you know, the word phenomenon is always attached to the whole Harry Potter thing. I mean, you know, the Forbes magazine quote that you apparently earned 25 million quid last year.
Don't believe everything you read in the press. I'm not going to lie. I mean, by anyone's standards, and certainly by mine, I'm now rich. By anyone's standards, but trust me, trust my accountant. The figures you're seeing banded around, some of them are so far from the reality. It's actually funny.
And how does that affect you, or doesn't it? I mean, I know it makes you
What, having money?
Yeah.
The single biggest change, and only people who have been extremely broke, I think, will really understand this. The single biggest change it makes to my life, I don't worry about money every day. Every day I'm grateful, but I'm not worried about money, because for a good 3 years, nearly 4 years, I was on a daily basis very, very worried about money. So it's wonderful to be able to go into a shop and buy yourself a skirt or whatever it may be.
Sorry to bash
Don't
using the microphone.
Sorry.
With your bracelet.
I knew you were going to say that. Even as I saw you looking, I knew that's what it. So wonderful though it may be to be able to afford things, that means nothing to me compared to the fact that I'm not worried anymore. I worry about different stuff now.
And there's also the kind of inevitability about it. This level of success, you know, the British attitude to success is not an American one.
No.
And that you're in for. I mean, Anthony Holden wrote a piece in The Observer, for example.
Bless him.
Anthony Buckeridge was interviewed for The Telegraph. You've seen all this, where people have had a go, a bit.
Well, I'll be honest with you. There are a lot of things that would upset me. That doesn't upset me. Number one, because I never expected anyone to like the books anyway. So the fact that there are people out there who don't like them is yes and. How I was never misguided enough or arrogant enough or naive enough to think that everyone would love my books, ever. Number one. Number two, I've been through a lot tougher than Anthony Holden saying he doesn't like my books. So I think I'm big enough to take it. Brave enough to take it.
Yeah. So, we're done. Okay, thanks.
Well, the skirt of the dress at your book always was very good.
Just lean in, please.
The Carnegie yesterday. No.
I looked at some of the old material we have which you've never used, which is
your speech at Hogwarts, was it?
The Gwyneth Paltrow speech.
Gwyneth Paltrow. That's great.
All I can remember of that speech is the Gwyneth Paltrow reference because I had nothing prepared.
Look at each other.
Oh, look at each other.
Talking
And there's the Jerry Hall bit too, which is quite good, I thought.
Well, Jesus Christ, who wants to be photographed next to Jerry Hall? Can you imagine? I'm 5'5". I'd come up to her crotch probably.
When's your birthday, by the way? Because it's any minute.
It is any minute, yeah. Last day of July.
Last day of July.